changed in 20 years? How long were we waiting for them? Where's mom and dad, right? These little kids that are around this age weren't even born at that time. So 20 years, a lot can change. And man, a lot has changed in automotive. 112 years, you know, not exactly a blink of an eye. 20 years, a quarter of that, right? But here's what's gonna change right before your eyes. Cadillac. Cadillac, as you know it, we have got 21 patents that are waiting just for the way this car is built. That's kind of throw your eyes back. Oh, what do you got going on that car? Yeah, it's all aluminum. It's all aluminum skin, it's all aluminum chassis. 64% of the chassis is aluminum. How did they do that? How did they make it stiffer, stronger, and lighter than anything else out there in the world and make it credible? Well, there's where it all gets interesting. And that's why I'm here today to tell you all about it as well. Now, before I get really into this and rolling, I want to tell you 4 things. We have another property right here that you can get a closer look at. The Phantom color, Phantom gray, is a higher level than what we have on stage in the crystal white. So we'll have levels, but as of today, things are changing. I mean, CT6 is the name. CT will be numbered 1 through 9. So what does that mean right off the bat? We're gonna have something really small, we're gonna have something bigger than this. That's what that means. Over here around the corner is another property that is this whole car stripped with the skin off, so you can appreciate the 13 high-pressure die-cast mold that it takes to build this, and look inside the honeycomb nature of how the strength and the spot welding of aluminum, the pop rivets, the self-driving and self-securing rivets, 591 feet of adhesives right on the aircraft industry on our vehicle. So you've heard of race car technology where you build a tub, right? You build a tub out of usually carbon fiber on the best race cars in the world. We're not going to go to that extent. Our tub is sheet steel. Why? Because it doesn't allow, let's say, noise, vibration, and harshness to travel through it as quickly as aluminum does. So we use the right materials in the right spot, and then we go all aluminum on the extensions, front and rear of this vehicle, and what we end up with proportionally is a big car and a mid-sized car weight. Now let me qualify that. 204 inches long. It's 1 inch shy of a 7 Series L over at BMW. It's 2 inches longer than an 8 over at Audi. Not an 8L, but an 8. It's 3 inches shy of an S-Class in length. But our vehicle is lighter than the mid-size vehicles E-Class, 6 over at Audi, 5 over at BMW. Guess what? Our CTS, which is exactly the same size vehicle, is already over 200 pounds lighter than any of those vehicles. 250 pounds lighter, and guess what this is? Lighter than that. So, when I start saying an inline 4-cylinder turbo engine is your base, I'm qualifying that with the weight of the vehicle. When I start telling you 2 new V6s that'll shut off cylinders and go down to 4s, but give you 335 horsepower or over 400 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque on the twin turbo that we're looking at right here, that's at 2,500 RPM. Now let's add in some fun stuff like rear wheel steering. How about massage seating in the rear and in the front, articulating full chase lounge seats in the back, 3.3 inches. Heated and cooled seats in the back. Obviously all that'll be in the front as well. 5 different massage programs, 3 different intensities to really get in there and find out where you're hurting while you're driving down the road, right? No matter what seat you're in. And how about this? 34 speakers by Panerai Bose sound system that was made just for us. Only Cadillac, only this car, 34 speakers. Where the heck do you put 34 speakers? Let's start there. Have you looked over here at this car and seen what rises up out of the dash? See that little, let's say, envelope-shaped area in the front of the dash? I don't know if you folks can see this very well. Underneath my hand here is an area that rises up out of the dash when you turn on the sound system. It kind of leans up. It doesn't bother your vision. In there are 3 speakers. In your A-pillars are 2 more speakers. So what are we up to already? 7, right? 8 speakers underneath each front seat. 16 and 7 turns into 23, right? 4 across the headrest. There we go to 27. 1 more in each front door, 29. Let's just do this one back here for round numbers. Big subwoofer, 30. Now we go 2 in each door. On the rear, there's 34 speakers that surround you in the car with the best sound reproduction, concert hall, professional grade quality that you've ever heard before. 2 new industry firsts. How about this? And let me do this really quickly in between. I see a lot of people here. I don't know what your schedules are, how long you've been around, but I want to cut to the chase on one thing. I'm not going to say a price, because there is no price yet. The vehicle is coming out at the end of the year. It is a 16 model year. So if you got to go, I understand. But here comes some more technology. Now, the night vision is 3rd generation, and it has the heat signature technology with that. What does that mean? That means if I get a human on the left-hand side of the road and a deer on the right-hand side of the road, that one looks like a deer and that one looks like a human, and it is then boxed in yellow on my driver information center, the IP. So we've made contact. It's way beyond your headlights. We see human form and we see an animal form. Now, as I'm approaching, if I'm not paying attention, they both go red, or they go red if there's going to be imminent impact. That's when your car can take over. If you're not paying attention, you can brake up to a full G. Your car will do it for you. So I guess that answers questions. Do you brake for animals? Apparently, yes, we do. So that's good, especially big ones like a moose, right? So when you see that technology and you can barely see it, it's hidden right here very nicely. Now there are cameras around the vehicle that you're probably used to in automotive. Some companies, including us, have what's called surround view or bird's eye view, 360-degree viewing. We have that. That's not an industry first. What is an industry first is the ability to record. So we're recording to an SD card in the back of the car. Why would you record? I see the eyebrows, right? So if your car is parked and alarmed and you're in Tahiti and it's at the airport, or maybe it's just parked outside your friend's driveway, it's not in your garage, and somebody comes up to try and steal your car, jack it up one side or the other, tow it, steel tires, brake glass to go inside, your car's going to immediately set off the alarm and start recording 360 around the car. While you drive down the road, you've seen the tape that comes in from Russia, the digital images of the cars driving down the road, the meteorite, weird things happening in Russia, right? The Wild West or the Wild East? Well, it's kind of wild where we live too. So we're going to have recording while you drive, front and rear, out of the vehicle. And if you're in park, 360. But if it's off and alarmed, you can perhaps catch a thief and get evidence that way as well. Now there's another camera that sits right next to the normal backup camera back here to the driver's side that is dedicated to our rear view mirror. The rear view mirror is not just a mirror. It's actually a full display screen. So, in the old days, we used to reach up and hit a button that went to electrochromic, right? Now they're automatic, so it just happens. There's a switch on the back of the mirror that activates that camera on back. So when I'm in my car, any of your cars, any of my cars, we all have about 21 degrees of viewing out the back of a car. And within that, we have roof and pillars. In this case, we've got a C and a D pillar. So I would have headrests and heads in there until I hit that button and that camera takes over. I just increased by 300%. I have 80 degrees of viewage now out the back of the vehicle, and oriented the same as what I was seeing when it was a reflective surface to when it was a screen. So a couple industry firsts right there. And also we have pedestrian mitigation. Now pedestrian mitigation keys up with the autonomous steering on the parking sensors on the right side, left side of the vehicle. You see 4 sensors that are kind of on the side, not the ultrasonics in front or rear, but right here in front by the marker, and you folks in the back can see one on the side. We've had this on the CTS, but now this is the next generation. So on the CTS, you have to do forward and reverse, and you have to do gas and brakes as the person driving the car. Hands-free, it steers. You know, you pick what you're going to do, perpendicular, parallel, hands off.